Welcome, gentle healers, to another heart to heart session with Talk and Toast, the podcast where we sip on life's wisdom, spread love like confetti, and navigate the beautiful chaos of our existence, one toast at a time. I'm your host, Coach G, and I'm your friendly neighborhood guide through the roller coaster of love, healing, self love, and the wild adventure of life. Buckle up because we're about to embark on a journey of laughter, insight, and of course, a touch of sparkling wisdom. Here at Talk and Toast, we believe in the power of conversation to heal, the magic of self love to transform, and the resilience that blooms when life throws a plot twist or two. Whether you're navigating through the labyrinth of love, on a quest for self discovery, or simply enjoying a moment of solace with your favorite cup of brew, this is the space where you've been searching for. So grab your favorite beverage, whether it's a comforting cup of tea, a rejuvenating coffee, or a glass of your preferred potion, because here we talk about the highs, the lows, and everything in between, all while raising our glasses to the beautiful mess that is life. Each episode will dive into a pool of stories, insights, and advice that make the journey worthwhile. Expect a sprinkle of humor, a dash of vulnerability, and a whole lot of heart. We're here to remind you that you're not alone in this adventure, and there's always a reason to clink glasses in celebration. Whether you're a seasoned love enthusiast, a healing aficionado, or just someone looking for a bit of camaraderie on this crazy ride, Talk and Toast is your cozy corner of the podcast universe. So, my wonderful, gentle healers, let's raise our glasses high and toast to love, healing, self love, and the unpredictable but beautiful dance of life. This Talk and Toast, where every episode is a celebration and you're always invited to the party. Welcome back to Talking Toast. I'm your host, Coach G. And today I want to dive into something truly special: holiday traditions. So, whether that is baking cookies, watching classic movies, or gathering around the table with your loved ones, traditions have been a way of making this season magical for many generations. But some of us don't have established traditions, or we're even looking into creating new ones that reflect our current life. So, in this episode, I want to explore the heart of holiday traditions, why they matter, and how you can intentionally create meaningful moments that last. Whether you're celebrating solo, with family, friends, or a partner, I've got ideas for everyone. Let's dive in and toast to making this season memorable. Hey, gentle healers. I'm so excited. The holidays are here upon us, and I am a traditional girl in the sense of like holidays. There's so many things that I grew up doing that I just have always looked forward to, especially Thanksgiving. Growing up as a kid, Thanksgiving was a way for me to see my extended family that I don't get to see throughout the year. It was like our Christmas and Thanksgiving all wrapped into one, especially because we were so spread out in so many different states across the state of Maryland. And, you have significant others and you have boyfriends, girlfriends, you friends, you want to connect with them. And so that was our way of getting together, and it was so great and it was perfect and I loved it. And as I've gotten older, the family has spread out so much more. We've had family members to transition. We have a lot of the grandkids, including myself, that no longer live in Maryland. And sometimes it's a little harder to travel back home. Or depending on what's going on in your life, it may not necessarily be the time and the space to be able to travel back home. But I definitely think that tradition matters, even if you don't get together as a whole. It's some things that you then can either pass down to your children or share with your significant other. And then maybe you can, add your own traditions and attach them to, your traditions that you've had as a kid, and just kind of put a reverb or a twist to it. So, I always like giving the history on some things of what is and why it doesn't matter and things of that nature. And I feel like, and I really believe that traditions matter because it creates the connection and the continuity, right? It ties us together as family. It ties us together with the people that we love. It ties our history or even our culture. And that is where you had your elders to pass down stories, where you were able to learn about things that happened before you, that came before you, some of the woes that and struggles that were endured or encountered. I know a lot of times, like, our elders have a hard time sharing in certain stories because there's so much pain and anguish that comes behind it. But for some of the stories that they do share, it coincides with history that we have to learn in other ways through museums and through, pictures or somebody else sharing your own history with you. I realize that because of technology and so many different things that are now changing, we don't have photo albums anymore to sit down and look at as a family and crack jokes and get blackmailed because you got a picture of your booty out as a kid or something crazy. It's so many things that traditions do. It brings laughter. It brings joy. It brings about feelings that sometimes you don't get with the outside world. Now, I know this won't tie in for every family. I know that there are going to be like scenarios where so many family members don't get along, or scenarios where you may be the last portion of, or the last generation of your family, and this is kind of where it ends with you. And so now you're embarking on doing traditions with friends or your significant other's family and things of that nature. So I completely get it. But traditions, especially for us culturally, have been a way for us to be able to 100% connect in such a different way. It grounds us during a season that can sometimes, feel so super overwhelming, especially now because as a parent, I have taught my kids about, the beauty of Christmas, the story of Christmas as I know it. I've shared with them the meaning behind Christmas to me, and have even asked them what the meaning of Christmas is for them. I have been in a space where, money was hard to come by. So they didn't get as many gifts from me as a parent. And I've also been in a space where money was great and then they had phenomenal Christmases. But I also wanted my children to understand that the tradition of Christmas is not just about you getting everything that you want, trying to keep up with people that don't really care about you, or keeping up with the Joneses. And we ain't know nobody named Jones for real. You know what I mean? It was about us coming together and making memories and building memories and having fun with each other and laughter and all of the joys and things that we can carry with us and look forward to the next year. I also feel like traditions matter because it also is a way to pass down values. It's a way to pass down things of moral compass within you that as you're seeing the world change so drastically before your eyes, that having instilled those values in the younger generation allows us in some way, shape, fashion, or form to keep things moving in a forward, in an upward direction. We've gotten away from so many things when it comes to family and tradition for so many different reasons, whether that is finding peace and that you're dealing with toxicity in your family, especially in your close-knit family. Whether that is no longer taking the verbal or financial abuse, whether it's from your siblings or from your parents, or just having a hard time connecting with people in your family because of hypocrisy or for one reason or another. Like, we're all human and we all make up this mosh of imperfectness and finding a way to love each other through it all. But when we're in those space and we're able to pass down those values and those morals, we come across things like generosity and gratitude, finding the importance in family. And tradition also teaches us lessons that stick with us, throughout our lives. Now, there are some lessons that we may learn along the way that may not necessarily apply to us as we get older. And we also find a way to, reach back once we get older and find the value in those lessons that we learned as kids. It At the end of the day, really, I find that traditions have made some super incredible memories for me. As a kid, I remember watching my grandfather sitting around the table with his sisters and brothers and his father. My great grandmother passed away way before I was born, so I've never had the opportunity or the blessing to meet her. However, I grew up with having my great grandfather. My great grandfather didn't pass away until I was 19 years old. And so it was a thing of knowing that I would see my great grandfather father every Thanksgiving. I would sit down and play checkers with him, even though he beat me every single game. It didn't even matter. It was the time that was spent, right? It was the fact that my great grandfather mumbled and I didn't understand but maybe 5 words. But I knew that when I saw him, he and I were going to sit down and play a game of checkers. He was going to be talking or junk or saying something, right? That just, again, I didn't understand. And that was going to be another memory that I had to hold on to. When my great grandfather passed away, there was that piece that was missing. Even remember the year that I was here in Tennessee visiting my father at the time, and my mom called me and told me my Uncle Bobby had transitioned. And so I knew that by the time Thanksgiving came, my Uncle Bobby wasn't going to be there. His wife, which is my Aunt Peaches, she wouldn't be there just because she's navigating now the loss of her husband, our uncle, well, my great uncle. And so you start to see certain things begin to dwindle away, and you're trying to find this really beautiful way to keep the traditions going and keep things flowing in a world where we're moving like so fast, right? Gathering with friends and family and having those traditions, it reminds us to pause and like literally savor the moments. And if you really don't have any traditions, I would urge you to start creating them. I would urge you to really begin to understand the value in having certain traditions. Now, that's not saying you can't incorporate new ones and you can't take some of the old ones that you had, and again, put a twist on it, or find things that really matter to you that you would really like to do over the holidays, or even for your birthday or summer vacations, or just not even specifically the holidays, but just at any time, traditions that you can really tap into. So I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, I'm going to I'm going to dive into ways of creating traditions that reflect your life, and talk about all that good stuff. So fill up your cup, whatever it is that you had to drink, come back with me, and we'll continue the conversation. All right, gentle healers, we are back wrapping up how you can create traditions and do different things in different segments of your life, whether that is with family, whether that is solo, whether that is with your partner. And now we're going to tap into it being with your friends. Now, your friends are your chosen family, and yet they deserve traditions too, like a new tradition that's been out probably about the last I say almost 10 years is Friendsgiving, where friends get together a few days before Thanksgiving, hang out with, each other, have fun, create memories, exchange gifts, or, do whatever. And I think that's a really great way. So now your friends don't feel left out. Especially if they don't necessarily, want to miss out on spending time with their family the day of Thanksgiving or Christmas, you can create the memories with them. Now, here's the thing for me. When I was sitting down creating and thinking about all of the great things, one thing that came to mind is a potluck party. However, I say that to you all because it is a great idea. It really is. I'm not big on potlucks. Yeah, no. I'm not big on potlucks because I've been to some houses and I've been to some places where people allow their animals to lick spoons and, be on the counter, or you're rubbing your fur friend or fur baby and then you finish cooking, or you just don't wash dishes properly, or the house is a mess. Look, no judgment, okay? I'm not saying that to judge anybody. However, I do have to be concerned about my stomach, okay? I have to be concerned about what I'm going to feel like on the aftermath, right? So I'm not really big about potluck parties. However, I'm not saying that you all shouldn't be. That is just my personal take on it. Do what you like. You know what I mean? But it is a way for everybody to bring a dish, whether it's to their tradition or a traditional American dish of what you would have at a holiday party. Right? That way you get to share the stories, you get to exchange the food, eat together, have a good time, make the drinks, the whole 9 yards. Personally, I think that what you could do instead of having a potluck party, right? There could be one person's house. Everybody can pitch in cooking at this one person's house, right? And you can still incorporate your dishes, but it could be all at the house that we're going to do the potluck at the have the party at. Yes. Yeah. Um for the reasons that I mentioned. But nonetheless, yes. You also could do gift exchange games while you're having this party. So when I moved to Tennessee, of course, I didn't have any friends. Of course, I knew people from high school, but I didn't have any friends. And so the people that I knew from high school slowly reconnected with them. But there were, of course, new people that I met in my life that have become genuinely family for me. And so there is a game. Look, don't quote me on what the name is, y'all, but basically there's a bunch of random gifts and you saran wrap it. Right. And each layer of saran wrap, you put a different kind of gift in there. It could be a bogus gift, like a ball out of the 25 cent machine, or it could be a big gift like $100 or $50. It could be a gift card. It could be so many really cool or womp 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 gifts that are in this ball. But I think that you have um 10 seconds maybe. I don't know for sure, okay, because I didn't get to play it last Thanksgiving, but you have um you have a certain amount of time to be able to unravel this ball to get to a gift, right? And if you get to it, cool. If you don't, then it just passes on to the next person. But when I tell you, we as a family go crazy trying to like hurry up and unravel this saran wrap ball that has great gifts in it, and it's going to have great gifts because the host are phenomenal people, which are my friends, their family, scratch that. But they have really great gifts in it, and they really are thoughtful, and they really think about what it is that they're putting inside. Now, we've also, if I'm not mistaken, we pitched in a couple times to, everybody pitched in and put a gift inside of the ball, and that's only fair too. But yeah, we did that. And then we had another game where we got a gift and then someone else got a gift and we were able to exchange or something to that effect. But find some really cool games that y'all can play. You can do a Secret Santa, you can do a themed gift exchange that can be a little bit more fun and memorable. You can have some playful twist on games that already exist to make it unique to you all. But I think that is a great way for friends to get together. And it's even cool to do it with your family as well. Just have game night, at your Friendsgiving or just whatever the holiday is that you are doing to get it together. Now, here's the other thing. Sometimes, like with friends, it's so hard to get everybody's schedule to align correctly for you to be able to do this next thing that I want to mention. But I feel like if you plan it far enough in advance, then you can get everybody on board. And that's doing an annual trip, or some type of adventure. Choose an activity that you all can do together every year, whether that is going to, see the lights or do ice skating or, go feed the homeless, which goes back into giving back together, and just figuring out some really cool things that you all can do together outside of a party or gift giving, going to look at the Christmas lights together, maybe taking a trip somewhere that is only tradition for you all, and creating new memories, telling stories as a couple, like what's another movie to think about, like Why Did I Get Married To? They took that trip to the Bahamas and they all sat around the fire and they stood up and they was able to share in so many different things. Granted, it didn't end well, because Janet Jackson, and I don't even remember her name in the movie, but nonetheless, she was talking about getting a divorce. He was thrown for a loop. So we're not talking about that type of adventure, but an adventure where everybody is happy and getting together. Now, I will say the key to make your traditions like feel personal and authentic to you, you know, is to make sure that they are coming from the heart, not just doing something to do something and say, yeah, so we got together. Don't be talking about it because I didn't, like, have it from the heart. If you can't do it from the heart, then don't do it at all. And they, again, don't have to be extravagant. They just have to be intentional. Like, you want to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing to connect with your people, your children, your family, your friends, your partner, it all needs to be with the greatest intention. Now, we sometimes don't know how to make traditions meaningful or even where to start. We also don't know, like, if everybody is going to be there and if everybody's going to really be willing to participate. And who all shows up are the people that are supposed to be there. And who all is there with the excitement and the same amount of love and care and festiveness is supposed to be there. But I will say, just start small. We've brainstormed on, well, I brainstormed and then I gave y'all some really cool ideas. And of course, take them, run with them, think of your own. It was just a few that I came up with. On, different ideas that you can do with different spaces in your life. But again, start small. You don't have to like do a dozen new traditions all at one time. Every year you can incorporate something new, but begin with something that is super manageable, one or two that you feel like everybody will enjoy. And then again, continue to add and just let it grow over time. The one thing that I feel like we get away from culturally is consistency. And consistency is something that I know so many people have trouble with, just because, again, life be life and things happen as kids, as all kinds of scenarios that happen. But I feel like for those things that are meaningful to you and those things that warms your heart and brings about a sense of joy and happiness, you'll find the consistency to do that. So choose something that you can realistically repeat every year, even if it's just like small little rituals like watching the same type of movie, or movies that fall into that, having a sleepover with a twist with just you and your girls, maybe lighting candles for loved ones, or just bringing over old pictures of you as children and sharing stories and things that y'all did as kids, and let you allow each other to see the similarities that you have between each other and the differences. We really don't realize how much we really have in common with each other as people until we actually are willing to open up and share in what it is that we've been through. I mean, all experiences you won't talk about, but the ones that included tradition and the ones where there were lasting memories and there was mindfulness, especially before cell phones. Cell phones and social media sometimes I feel like have done a number on traditions and people being able to communicate and talk to each other and just connect with each other face to face. Like, that's a whole nother topic, y'all. But nonetheless, it definitely is a thing. On Instagram, and I know I was just talking about social media, but on Instagram I saw Toya, which is, Lil Wayne's baby mother. She has like a different theme for her birthday every year, and she does something with the same group of people every year, right? And she makes sure that they have something, and it's her tradition for her birthday. So one year she had a sleepover. The next year she, I think, did a rodeo theme or something to that effect this year. But for her birthday, she's gonna have some type of tradition, and it's gonna be themed. So that. Now, I will say one thing for sure and two things for certain that cell phones have definitely been really beautiful for is being able to document everything. Pictures galore, videos galore, the whole nine yards. And so don't forget to document and snap those shots, and don't forget to videotape the moments, even the hard laughters and the corny jokes, and maybe sharing in the tears of connecting with each other in a different way, and all kinds of things. Write about the experience. I think that when I like get to this next chapter in my life and I am able to have a group of girlfriends, because like a group of female friends. So, I have my female friends back home and I have my bestie here, but I mean people that I am connecting with as an adult, that we can begin to build our own traditions and things of that nature. I want to keep like a journal or a memoir or something where we can write about our experience this, that year, or just for them to share with me their thoughts via writing and collectively put it together at some point, in a book, and then have it, as a keepsake that we can then share with our children of, things that how much fun we had, things that we did, that we talked about, what was our favorite moment at the, the party or whatever it is that we have. And then that way our children can see what real friendships look like. That way our children are able to see what it means to build meaningful memories and meaningful experiences with each other. Traditions do not have to start off big and extravagant. It is about having precious moments with people each year. We're not promised tomorrow. We just celebrated my brother's 42nd birthday. My brother transitioned March 21st of this year, and it was really tough to celebrate his 42nd birthday. However, I also, I have a memory of sharing a Christmas with him. I have a memory of sharing a Thanksgiving with him. I have a memory of sharing 4th of July with him. I have memories of us playing hide and go seek. I have it. And when I said all of that to say is, again, we're not promised tomorrow. We don't know the day. We don't know the hour. We don't know the circumstances or the situation in which we will transition. So it is so important that you connect with your people. You won't connect with everybody. You won't like everybody. That is not the goal. The goal is to find your tribe, whether that tribe is within your family, whether that is just finding yourself on your journey, whether that is finding your person and building the traditions, doing it with your children, whatever the case may be, it is beautiful to just start it. Just do it. I have beautiful memories here in Tennessee. I have beautiful memories with my father and that side of the family. I have beautiful memories that I've been sharing with my girlfriend in regards to being with my mom and that side of the family, and just how much things have changed in traditions with that side of the family. So just do it. Literally, just do it and connect with your people. Again, we're not promised, right? And traditions are all about connections and building those memories and those moments, whether it is with yourself or with others. When you approach them, do it with intention. And I promise you, they'll bring so much joy for each passing year. I promise you. They're so I find them fun. I think they're the greatest. I think having traditions with my family has been the cornerstone of looking forward to, you know, each year, to be 100% honest with you. I am going to take my last and final break. And when I come back, I am going to be closing out with the power of creating new traditions. So stay tuned and join me back here in a few shakes of a lamb's tail. Okay, y'all. So we have talked a lot about traditions and making them and connecting with people and the meaning behind those traditions, and just genuinely understanding how important they are to the building of connection and memories and mindfulness, and the value in sharing it with your children and passing the traditions on so that they can continue on. And sometimes that is a part of our legacy and we don't even think about that. So I feel like it does a disservice when when we take away traditions. Whether you scrap all of your old traditions and start anew, I feel like it does a disservice to us as a culture and as family to do away with traditions. Now, I do know that some people would be hesitant to, try to start up new traditions, but I want you to be aware that somebody somewhere, whether it's in your family or in your friends, has the same feeling about a tradition or traditions that you have. Maybe again, they were the cornerstone of celebrating the holidays, or you looking forward to something, or connecting with family that you haven't seen. Something, right? Just you have to begin somewhere. And again, begin small. Also, on the flip side of that, if there are traditions that you have outgrown or that no longer bring you joy, let go of the guilt that comes behind that and give yourself the permission to move on. Like, just focus on what feels meaningful, for you now. Like, just because we did this when I was a child doesn't mean that I have to do that with my children, right? Just because my mom thought that that was cool to do with me when I was a young teenager or in my teenagehood doesn't mean that that works for my children. So initially, I felt a little guilty about it, but I don't anymore because I've built some beautiful traditions with my children. Embrace the change that comes along with that as well. Like, life evolves, and so can tradition. Life throws monkey wrenches. Guess what? It's okay. It transitions actually are really beautiful. It's like, moving from one house to another house. It's like blending families. It's like, I guess, like starting a new relationship, or an opportunity to create something fresh. And it is okay. Let go of the guilt and embrace the change. And like I said before I went to break, make it personal, right? Find a way to make this personal to you. Excuse me. Traditions don't always have to be or follow anyone else's script. It doesn't have to look like what someone else thinks. They can give their input or their feedback, but it doesn't have to necessarily look like what they think it should look like. And choose things that reflect your personality and your values and what bring you happiness, and extend it out to share it with other people. Everybody's not going to be accepting of it, and that is okay as well. Don't feel like you don't have necessarily people in your corner that want to celebrate traditions, because here's the thing too, we all have hidden stories that we don't share of why we don't like certain things, right? But just put it out there in the open and tell people what you're going to do, and those again that are supposed to be there will be there. The one thing that I've learned is that the beauty of tradition is that they're yours to create. And, whether you're carrying on some of the old ones from when you were a kid, or you're beginning to just start new ones with yourself or with your friends or your family, it's really all about making the season meaningful for you and the people that you love. And it's all about making it where you're consistently building that connection, and you're consistently doing the things that will bring you all together. And you can cherish these moments again by documenting them with pictures and stories and writing them down. So that way, again, we have something to pass on to our children. The days of sitting around your elders and listening to them tell stories, I hate to say is almost a thing of the past, but we have found a way to be able to still bring the stories to our children, whether we record it on our phones with a video, whether we do a voice record and add it into our notes, whether we write it and create it into a book, whether we take the pictures and put them into a new style photo album. All of them can be collected and shared. I want to thank y'all for joining me on this festive episode. I hope that some of the things that I've shared with you all brings you into a place of maybe wanting to start your own traditions, tap into celebrating on with yourself this year if you're on a journey of healing and finding yourself, connecting with your friends, or just trying to continue the old traditions with your family. Holiday traditions really have been the power to bring the meaning, the joy, and the connection to the season. And genuinely, for me, I feel like the best part is you get to create the ones that resonate with you. And like I said, whether you're doing it solo, whether you're connecting with a partner, with friends, or your family, I do hope that today's ideas inspired you to make this season extra special. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share, and let me know what your traditions are that you're creating this year or you're continuing on. As always, until next time, keep raising a glass to love, connection, and the beautiful memories ahead. Happy holidays to every one of you. And thank you so much for rocking out with me thus far this year.